We would FaceTime all the time. When I had to stop, I would FaceTime her, and she would always answer. My wife never hid her phone. I still had access to her phone. Nothing was out of place, and she didn't have a password or anything. I could just pick up her phone and use it with no issues. Well, I got a call from an old friend of mine saying he saw my wife out one night with some guy, and the way they were all over each other was on full display. We hadn't talked in months, but he recently moved back to help his dad run their electrical business. I didn't believe him at first when he told me because he didn't have any photos or anything, but I believed him because he was the type of person who was very direct and straight up. Never sugarcoated anything in the 15 years I knew him. If he said something, you could bank on it. When I got back from one of my trips, I placed a voice-activated recorder in her car. While I pretended to be gone, I installed a tiny hidden camera by the front door and the back door. Well, what I saw broke my heart. The guy she was cheating with never came during the day. He always came at night, and through the back door. It was crazy. She had no idea I knew she was cheating. My wife had been telling me she was handling emergency claims, late night calls from clients who had fires, floods, or accidents. She said the company paid extra for these after-hours assessments. I never questioned it because the money did show up in our account. Not overtime exactly, but bonuses here and there. She was smart about it. The recordings from her car painted a different picture. He asked if she could get away on a particular day. She laughed about how I was heading to Phoenix with a load, 3 days minimum. They discussed restaurants in the next county, places where nobody would recognize them. Cash only, always cash. The camera footage was worse than the audio. This man was walking into my house like he belonged there. I watched him from 2 states away, sitting in my truck cab at a rest stop. This went on for weeks while I collected evidence. I had to be careful about confronting her. She has a bit of a temper, so I had a plan. We didn't have much in savings, so I did not touch the bank accounts. I kept money in another account. I did this because she struggled with managing her finances, always had. I handled the bills, the investments, everything except her personal checking. We live in New York, and even though New York is a no-fault divorce state, I was planning to file on basis of adultery, but I needed as much evidence as I could. Once I had all my evidence and showed my attorney, my plan was to have her served at work and be moved out at the same time. The house we lived in was not ours. We were renting it, and the lease was up in 2 months. We had a house we sold about 3 years ago, but never found anything to our liking. The market went crazy, and we decided to wait it out. Now, I was grateful we were just renters. No messy property division, no fighting over equity. Every night I was home, I played the devoted husband. Kissed her goodbye when she left for her emergency claims, told her to be careful when driving. Yeah, this is how you have to do it. If you know your partner is cheating, you have to be smart about it. Don't resort to violence, because what's going to happen? You're going to lose your freedom. As far as I know, there's no crime of passion law in the U.S. I mean, the attorneys could probably use it as a defense, but you're going to go to jail. Simple. You're going to go to jail. Even packed a thermos of coffee to keep her alert for all that late night paperwork when I was home for a few days and wasn't traveling. She would pat my cheek, tell me I was good to her. Meanwhile, I had 63 video files, 47 audio recordings, enough evidence to bury her in court. Damn. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal, coming home from a 4-day haul to Buffalo and acting like I hadn't spent the entire drive listening to recordings of my wife planning her next rendezvous. She would greet me at the door with a kiss, ask about the road conditions, and tell me she missed me. All while her phone sat on a counter, probably with deleted messages from him. I started recognizing patterns in her behavior. The night she claimed emergency claims always coincided with my longer routes. She had my schedule memorized better than I did. Phoenix runs meant 3 days minimum. Seattle meant 4. Buffalo was usually 2, but winter weather could stretch it. She knew exactly how much time she had. The voice recorder picked up more than just their conversations. It caught her practicing her lies, sitting in her car, rehearsing what she would tell me about the fictional house fire in Rochester or the phantom flood damage in Syracuse. She would test different versions, adjusting her tone until it sounded believable. The dedication to her deception was almost impressive. My attorney was good, from what I heard, and when I showed him my evidence, he actually whistled. Said in 30 years of practice, he'd rarely seen someone document an affair so thoroughly. The videos were time-stamped. The audio was clear. Multiple incidents over several weeks. In New York, adultery was still grounds for divorce, even though most people just filed for no fault. But having concrete proof of infidelity could affect things like spousal support. Certain states still have an at-fault clause. My attorney said her bringing another man into our marital home, even a rental, showed particular disrespect for the marriage. Judges noticed things like that. I continued driving my routes and collecting evidence. One Monday night, I was supposedly halfway to Detroit with a load of steel beams. Instead, I was at a hotel, watching the backdoor camera feed on my phone. He arrived at 8:17 p.m., walked up to the back door, didn't even look around to see if anyone was watching. That's how comfortable they had gotten, how sloppy. My wife told me she was dealing with a complicated claim with the restaurant fire. She mentioned she might be late because the owner was being difficult about the documentation. Meanwhile, I watched him through my hidden camera, sitting on my couch, drinking wine I probably paid for. The lease on our rental was up in 8 weeks. I told my wife I would handle finding our next place since I had some downtime between runs. She seemed relieved and said work was overwhelming her lately. All those emergency claims were exhausting. I signed a lease on a one-bedroom apartment near the highway, put down the deposit with cash from my separate account. Didn't mention it was just for me. The moving company was scheduled for the same day she would be served. I arranged everything for a Tuesday when I knew she had a staff meeting at 10 o'clock. Her whole department would be there. The process server would be discreet, but there was only so much discretion possible when someone got divorce papers at their workplace. Her affair partner was married too. Found that out from the recordings. He mentioned his wife was always working and gone most nights. How convenient. My wife thought I was hauling freight across state lines. Everyone was lying to someone. I considered telling his wife, but decided to focus on my own situation first. Maybe after the divorce was final, I would send her an anonymous package with some select recordings. Let her make her own decisions with the truth. My wife started getting careless in other ways too. Left a receipt from a restaurant 2 counties over in her purse. Dinner for 2, paid cash, on a night she claimed to be investigating water damage in Albany. She forgot to throw away a parking stub from a shopping center, nowhere near any of her supposed emergency calls. These breadcrumbs would have led me to the truth eventually, even without my friend's tip. The Sunday before everything went down, we had breakfast together. She made pancakes my favorite, talked about maybe taking a vacation once work slowed down, mentioned how we hadn't been to the beach in years. I agreed, said that sounded nice, knowing I would be in my new apartment by the weekend. She had no idea the man eating pancakes across from her knew everything. That every kiss goodbye, every love you too, every false emergency claim had been documented, cataloged, and prepared as evidence. The betrayal had turned me into someone I thought I would never become. Someone who could smile at his cheating wife over breakfast while planning her ambush. But she made that choice when she let another man into our home, into our bed, into the life we built over 17 years. Tuesday morning came faster than expected. I woke up at 5 a.m. in the house we shared for the last time. I got dressed quietly and made coffee. Sat at the kitchen table watching the sun come up. By tonight, I will be in my new apartment. By tonight, she would know that I knew everything. She came downstairs at 6:15, already dressed for work. She mentioned the staff meeting at 10 a.m. She hoped it wouldn't run long as she had claims to process, always maintaining the lie, even in casual conversation. I told her I was picking up a load for Chicago later. I would be gone for 3 days. She said she would miss me, then grabbed her purse and headed for the door. I watched her leave for the last time as my wife. The moving truck arrived at 8:30 a.m. 2 guys who worked fast and didn't ask questions. I only took what was mine before the marriage and a few essentials, my clothes, my tools, and the flat screen I bought with my bonus last year. Left the wedding china, left the photos on the walls. By 9:45, the truck was loaded. I did a final walkthrough. The house looked almost the same, just emptier. At 10:05 a.m., while she sat in her staff meeting, the process server walked into her office. I knew because my attorney texted me, delivered, 2 words that ended 17 years. My phone started ringing at 10:12 a.m. I was already at my new apartment, directing the movers where to put my furniture. I let it go to voicemail, then another call, another voicemail. By 10:30 a.m., I had 23 missed calls. The text started at 10:15 a.m. What the hell is this? You can't be serious. Where are you? Answer your phone now. This is insane. We need to talk about this. Please call me back. I'm leaving work. Where are your things? Where are you? I turned off my phone and focused on unpacking. The apartment was small, but mine. Just a bed, a couch, and boxes of a life I was rebuilding. My attorney said she had tried to refuse the papers. Her supervisor had to witness because she wouldn't take them initially. She left the building immediately after, according to the server. Probably went home to find half the furniture gone. Reality was hitting her like a truck on the highway. I turned my phone back on at 6 p.m. Over 100 texts. The last one caught my attention. He's here with me. We need to talk to you. What? The absolute audacity of that woman, bringing her affair partner into this. Yeah, that's crazy. What the hell does he have to do with it? Yeah, he can't fix anything. Like he had any right to be a part of this conversation. I drove by the house at 7:30 p.m. Both cars in the driveway. His car was parked behind her blue SUV. The kitchen light was on. Were they sitting at the table where we ate breakfast 3 days ago? Were they planning their future while my marriage died? I kept driving. Went back to my apartment. Ordered takeout from a place that didn't know my name yet. Ate it straight from the containers while watching trucks pass on the highway. She was calling around to my friends and family, trying to find me. She went to my usual truck stop off Route 90, the one where I always parked when I was between runs. She called me from there, voice broken, desperate. I'm at the truck stop, she said. Your truck isn't here. Please, we need to talk. I told her there was nothing to discuss. The paper said everything. She didn't know about the cameras, didn't know about the recordings, didn't know that I had watched her betrayal in real time from truck stops across the country. How did you find out? She asked. I told her it didn't matter. What mattered was that I knew. You've been watching me? Like I was the villain in the story. Like her months of deception were somehow my fault. I told her the divorce would proceed as filed. She could keep the house until the lease ended. She has 8 weeks to figure out her next move. You can't do this, she said. But I could, and I did. The evidence was overwhelming. The betrayal was documented. The marriage was over the moment she chose him. The divorce hearing was set for 6 weeks out. Fast by New York standards, but my attorney said the evidence made it straightforward. No kids to fight over. No property to divide since we rented. Just a savings account and her request for alimony. She hired an attorney within days of being served. He sent my attorney a letter suggesting mediation, talking about reconciliation. What? He better not reconcile with this woman. About how marriages could survive infidelity with work. My attorney sent back one word, no. I went back to driving my routes. The road was peaceful now. No more anxiety about what was happening at home. No more wondering if she was lying about emergency claims. The truth had set me free, even if it hurt like hell. Week 3 after the papers, she tried a different approach. She started texting me photos of our wedding, our honeymoon in Niagara Falls, that camping trip where it rained for 3 days straight and we laughed about it anyway, trying to weaponize nostalgia. I deleted them without responding. Those memories belonged to different people. Her affair partner's wife finally found out. Not from me, though I had planned to tell her. Turned out he got sloppy too. My attorney received a call from his attorney. The affair partner wanted to submit an affidavit. He said the relationship was brief, meaningless, that my wife pursued him, that he was planning to end it, throwing her under the bus to save his own marriage. She texted me frantically when she found out. He's lying. It wasn't like that. He said he loved me. How could he do this? Both of them are just stupid. The woman who betrayed me was upset about being betrayed. I almost laughed. 4 weeks before the hearing, the lease renewal notice came. The landlord wanted a decision within a few weeks. I called him directly, explained the situation. He was understanding, said he could show the place while she was still there, give her the legally required notice. She would have to be out after the lease was up. He was not going to renew it. Her attorney made one last push for alimony, claimed she had grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Well, don't cheat. You cheated, you don't deserve his resources. That my absence driving trucks had contributed to the breakdown of the marriage. Well, she gets to do it on her own. She's no longer a part of that household. My attorney submitted the videos, the recordings, time-stamped evidence of her affair spanning months. She practicing lies in her car, him entering through our back door like a thief. The alimony request was withdrawn within 48 hours. She started calling my family again. My mother, my sister, even my elderly uncle in Florida, crying about how sorry she was, how she made a mistake, how I was being unreasonable. My mother, bless her, told her exactly where to go. Said she raised me to be loyal and expected the same from my wife. My sister was less polite. The court date arrived on a Friday. I wore my only suit. She wore black, as if she were attending a funeral. Maybe she was. She brought him with her. Actually brought her affair partner to our divorce hearing. What? Why in the hell did she do that? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I guess she needed some support. He sat in the back row trying to look invisible. His wife's attorney had been busy too, apparently. His divorce was also in progress. The judge reviewed the evidence privately in chambers, came back after 20 minutes. The divorce was granted on the grounds of adultery, no alimony. She got her personal belongings and her car. When it was over, she approached me outside the courthouse. He waited by their car, or maybe it was just her car now. I'm sorry, she said. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I looked at her for the last time. This woman was the one I had loved for 17 years, who I thought I knew inside and out. I know, I said. Then I walked to my truck and drove away. The truth is that I survived. The truth is that I was free. The truth is that sometimes the best thing that can happen is finding out exactly who someone really is, even if it breaks your heart. Here's an update. After the divorce, my ex-wife tried to contact me relentlessly. I just blocked her, but that didn't work. She showed up at the truck stop I frequent, tried to follow me a few times, and I finally had to get the police involved to make her stop. Now, mind you, I never told her where I live. Well, one morning I go out to my truck, and guess who is standing next to my truck? She looks at me, walks off, and says, "Now I know where you live." Fellas, I haven't seen her since, and that was 4 months ago. I hated doing it, but I managed to get a restraining order. Don't know how much good that will do. Thanks, Tone, for allowing me to share my story. If I have any more updates, I will be sure to reach out. Well, all I have to say is he needs to protect himself. I think he handled the situation as best as he could without losing his cool. I know a lot of people will comment and say something stupid, but when you think logically rather than emotionally, you usually come out okay, especially if you gather evidence. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.